kindly mention a little bit about this One Nation, One ID.
Sure.
Could you elaborate what this is about?
Sure. Something known as the APAAR ID is being created for each student. So APAAR is essentially automated permanent academic account registry. So as part of the national education policy, one of the primary focus is developing students as global citizens. Um, uh, there'd be future leaders who would be able to sort of help skills develop skills that would help them thrive as global citizens. So as part of it, Government of India is the Ministry of Education is spearheading an effort called the APAAR ID. So this is the one nation, one student ID card. So it'll be a single ID card. That'll be lifelong. It'll be a unique ID for each student. It'll be lifelong. It'll have several benefits. It'll also help them access multiple educational resources. So it helps us track the educational progress and achievements of each of the students. So you will be able to they will be able to access the DigiLocker ecosystem where documents can be stored digitally and can be accessed on demand. All the details of the students, I mean, all achievements of the students. It could be the exam results, it could be the holistic report cards, it could be the Olympiad results, it could be learning outcomes. So all this can be stored and accessed through the APAAR ID from a single location. So, as part of it, so we're issuing a notification to all the schools to hold parent-teacher meetings on 16th, 17th, and 18th of this month, starting today, and we are requesting them to explain the help. How will an APAAR ID, if generated, will benefit the student? Now, if the parents don't give their consent, then the APAAR ID will not be created for that particular student. So we've requested our teachers to explain the benefits of creating an APAAR ID and how that would help them lifelong, and just not when they're within the school education ecosystem, but then once they go for their higher studies, it will help them there as well. So that's what's happening right now. But again, this is based on the consent of the parents, and it's not going to be forced on anybody.
But still, you said there will be benefits for those who do apply for it, and those who don't. There will be some consequences to that.
No consequences in the sense that, say, for example, if using the APAAR ID, you can access some educational resources. So that you might not be able to access, you will not be able to access if you don't have the APAAR ID. And then it's a one-stop source for storing all the results. And, you can access it in one go. So, say, for example, at a later point in time, when a higher educational institution wants to access the academic records of the student, now, if they have an APAAR ID, if the APAAR ID is provided to the higher educational institution, then they'll be able to easily access and verify. So that benefit might not be available to a student who does not get an APAAR ID created.
So, sir, such mechanisms were not in place. I mean, where we tracked students' progress and all that.
So I think, say, for example, now if you're having, so if it's within the DigiLocker ecosystem, and say suppose at the later point in time the student loses the educational documents, now he or she, now this, if they're able to access the educational documents through the APAAR ID and in the DigiLocker ecosystem, that would be a fail-safe for them. There is a digital version of all your documents. Now if you don't have it, then you'll have to go and apply to all these organizations, all these institutions, get it, and then submit the physical copies. So there are incidental benefits like that. So even now the DigiLocker ecosystem is even available even right now. But once this is created, it's for each student. You're creating one ID where all the educational achievements are tracked in one go. So if say, for example, if a higher educational institution wants to figure out if the documents submitted by the person, are they true or not, are they fake or not, that'll be easy for them to trace out through the APAAR ID. So it's up to them. Since it's an Aadhaar based card, of course all the data will be kept confidential, and the Aadhaar number is not going to be shared with anybody. But still, the consent of the parents is needed. If they do not want to create, that's up to the student and the parents.
Sir, and how are the school education going about with this?
So we've issued a notification to all our field level officers, our district education officers, our senior sub-divisional education officers, and our sub-divisional education officers to instruct the schools under their jurisdiction to conduct this parents-teacher meeting on 16th, 17th, and 18th, and ensure that the consent is taken. Because once it's explained as to what is the benefit, it's very likely that all parents would be okay with giving their consent. In case there are certain parents who are not, then they'll also be recorded, and it'll also be captured in the UDICE Plus database that's maintained by Government of India.
Sir, also, despite the prior announcements of school closure on Saturdays, they have continued to operate. So, is there a breakdown in communication within the education system, or is there a specific reason why this decision has been implemented?
Sure. Our Honorable Advisor of School Education and SCRT, Dr. Kekriomi, had announced on 5th September that all Saturdays would be non-working days. So now currently, for the current academic year, the schools have designed their lessons in such a way that first and third Saturdays are taken as working days. So in the middle of the year, it sort of becomes difficult for them to shut down the schools on first and third Saturday, because that will affect completion of syllabus and helping students prepare for examination. So this announcement by the Honorable Advisor will definitely be implemented. We are currently working out on the modalities, and we will shortly come out with a notification notifying all Saturdays as non-working days.
Sir, to control and monitor proxy teachers, physical verification of the teachers are said to be monitored by the Smile app.
Sure.
Can you give us the status and how many district and school have been taken as a pilot project?
Sure. So we've had two pilots in a block in Kohima and Fake district. So as of now, we've completed the exercise of creating a database where we had gone to our team, had visited all the districts, and all the employees under the Department of School Education their data has been captured and the data has been created. Now database has been prepared. Now we're in the process of providing tablets to all the schools. Once that is done, we'll be able to roll out this, and we're also working on the standard operating procedures for how this is going to exactly work on the field. What is to be done, and how do we, in case a teacher is not marking their attendance, how is that going to be linked to their payroll, and the salary is going to be automatically deducted. So all that is being worked out right now. So from the new academic year, we hope to roll it out, and this we believe would put an end to the practice of proxy teachers or proxy employees for that matter in the Department of School Education.
Sir, also on Teachers' Day, the advisor had mentioned the flows and changing the entire system in the education department.
Sure.
So, can you kindly mention the status of those changes?
So we're working on a lot of initiatives under the guidance of our Honorable Advisor. Stopping the practice of proxy teachers is one such initiative. So the Smile app is going to help us there. There are other systemic changes that we're working on, addressing service issues of various categories of employees within the department. There are other specific tasks related to strengthening of district offices, introducing certain other changes which would help streamline the operations of our department across the levels, right down from the state level to the district to the block. To the schools, introducing some changes. So all that's already happening, and under the World Bank funded Nectar project, we're working on two main aspects. One is strengthening the school governance, and the other is improving the teaching and learning environments. So all those, there is a consortium which is already on board, which is working on the governance and capacity building of stakeholders in the school education ecosystem. So all those changes are happening. Given that it's a very large department, second biggest, right next to the police, changes will take time, but slowly but surely we are getting there.